why it's getting harder. The counterfeiters have gotten smarter. What's up, everyone? Tiger Stacker here. Today we're going to talk about fakes, only a special type of fake that is very hard to differentiate from the real. The counterfeiters are getting smarter, and subsequently, we need to be too. In this case, we're going to talk about gold. Gold is a little harder to figure out if there's a counterfeit, and I want to point out to you why that is the case. Let's talk about gold. Gold is number 79 on the periodic table with the initials AU. It has a melting point of 1,948 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,064 degrees Celsius, which is very close to the top level that most home furnaces can melt at, which is why you have to switch over to an acetylene torch if you have an electric furnace. It has a specific gravity of 19.3. What is specific gravity? Specific gravity is the density of a substance. So it is actually mass divided by volume. What is the atomic mass of gold? 196.97 U. What is a U? U is Unified Atomic Mass Unit, otherwise known as Dalton. Why do we call it Dalton? Well, it was named after John Dalton, who was a chemist many years ago, and it's particularly to express the atomic and molecular masses, particularly of large molecules such as proteins. So why are we talking about specific gravity and mass units or Daltons when we're talking about fakes? Well, there's a very specific reason why, and you're going to see why it's getting harder because the counterfeiters have gotten smarter. Most recently, some of us have seen in other channels where a gold eagle has been cored out and a disc of tungsten was put in the middle.
Allegedly American gold eagles.
It's a counterfeit.
Different than the other variety that we've highlighted on one of your videos. This one, just one solid plug of tungsten with just maybe a nickel coating and then a gold plating over it.
Why tungsten? For a very specific set of reasons. It makes it a lot harder to find the fakes. And you'll see why here in just a little bit. Tungsten, labeled by W, is 74 on the periodic table, just 5 points away from gold. Tungsten has a specific gravity of approximately 19.3, which means it's almost exactly the same thing as gold, which then means the mass per volume is basically the same. So specific gravity, or mass divided by volume, shows the specific gravity of tungsten and gold to be about the same, 19.3. The mass of gold is 196.97. The mass of tungsten is 183.84.
And if you weigh it, it weighs the right amount.
It did.
And when you do the math backwards, the volume of gold for that unit is 10.21. The volume of tungsten is 9.52. Not that far off. So basically, gold is 1.07 times the volume of tungsten.
And it's the right size.
Pretty close. I've put my caliper on them and it seems like they're a little bit different, but I mean, it's minute.
And the same thing for the mass. So the mass of gold to tungsten is 1.07, and basically is the same thing for the volume of gold to tungsten, which means gold is just slightly larger. It's a good substance to fill in a cored out gold eagle, and subsequently you will not find any difference in the weight of it. There are ways to find out, but you have to use more than one type of method.
Notice how
Oh, so the Sigma machine can pick up the fake as well.
If you put it on a Sigma Metalytics that only does the surface, there's a very good chance you will not pick up the abnormality, especially if you use the thicker parts.
it was a real coin. So if you actually put it on this side of the coin where the Lady Liberty is there, it's kind of thicker. It'll try to fit in the middle. Right. But if you put it off to the side a little bit, it'll jump.
Of the gold. So if you use the dress, the breast area, the head, you probably won't pick it up. Same thing if you use the raised parts of the eagle. You might not pick it up. The closer you get to the field, the more likely you're going to pick it up. That depends on how much they've cored out. Of course, if you have a Sigma Metalytics Pro, which is what I have, which uses both the surface analysis and the through resistivity, you will pick it up.
Let's test the other one.
You also pick it up if you use an XRF, whether it be a gun or a microwave looking device. And then there is another way which is more destructive. You could use the melting point of gold, because the melting point of tungsten is almost 6,200 degrees Fahrenheit, 3,400 degrees Celsius. It will remain after the gold has liquefied. Certainly, you wouldn't want to do that to your American Gold Eagle after you've spent so much money, especially in today's market. Today being July 13, 2025. Of course, you can also use the ping, which I'm sure would not ping correctly because the resonance of tungsten would not allow the pure resonance of a 22 karat American Gold Eagle, 91.67% gold, 5.33% copper, and 3% silver completely through the item.
And ting them. You
Yeah.
got here a nice little ting. If you take it to these phony guys, they're just dead.
So that leaves you with melting, Sigma Metalytics, especially if you have the Pro, which will allow you to use the through reactivity in addition to only the surface reactivity. XRF, whether it be a gun or the microwave, or ping test. Without those devices, you might easily be fooled, which is why I always recommend use more than one type of verification. Have them at your arsenal. Of course, you could try doing specific gravity, and in this case, it will fail because the specific gravity of tungsten and the specific gravity of gold is 19.3. So no matter what you do for specific gravity, it will fail. You cannot use the scale because it will fail. You cannot use the calipers because it will fail, because the mass and the volume are basically the same. So I hope that I brought you some good information on what you need to do when you are buying gold and how to verify it and why you need more than one verification technique. So be careful, my friends. Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. There's too many counterfeiters out there and they are getting smarter, which means you do too. So I'll see you all in the next one. Tiger Stacker out.